Once upon a time, in a cozy little town nestled beside a sparkling blue lake, lived a kind old woodcarver named Elias. His small workshop, filled with the scent of pine and cedar, was his sanctuary. Elias loved nothing more than bringing joy to the children of the town through his whimsical creations. Each toy he crafted held a piece of his heart. One chilly autumn day, a little girl named Lily, with bright, curious eyes and pigtails bouncing, peeked into Elias's workshop. She shyly asked if he could fix her broken wooden doll, Clara. Elias, with a twinkle in his eye, welcomed Lily in. He carefully examined Clara, whose painted face had faded and one of her arms had come loose. Over the next few days, Lily visited Elias's workshop after school. She watched, fascinated, as he painstakingly sanded, glued, and repainted Clara. He told her stories of his own childhood and the toys he had cherished. Finally, the day arrived when Clara was as good as new. Elias presented her to Lily with a flourish. Clara's face shone with fresh paint, and her arm was firmly reattached. Lily threw her arms around Elias, thanking him profusely. She promised to treasure Clara forever. As she skipped out of the workshop, clutching Clara tightly, Elias felt a warmth spread through his heart. That night, as the moon cast long shadows across the town, Elias sat by his window, watching the twinkling stars. He realized that the true joy of his craft wasn't just in creating beautiful things, but in sharing them and bringing happiness to others. And so, Elias continued to carve, his heart filled with warmth, knowing that each creation carried a little bit of love and kindness into the world. In the quaint town of Havenwood, nestled amidst rolling hills, stood the Havenwood Emporium, a place that time seemingly forgot. It was owned by Silas, a gruff but kindly old man with a twinkle in his eye and a perpetually dusty apron. The Emporium was a treasure trove of forgotten things: antique clocks, vintage toys, and stacks upon stacks of second-hand books. Silas loved his Emporium, but business had been dwindling for years. A modern shopping center on the outskirts of town had lured away the younger generation, leaving the Emporium feeling more like a museum than a business. One blustery autumn day, a young woman named Juniper stumbled into the Emporium, seeking shelter from the wind. Juniper was a baker, known for her whimsical creations at Juniper's Sweet Surrender, a bakery she'd poured her heart and soul into. However, a recent rent increase had left her teetering on the brink of closure. Exhausted and discouraged, Juniper found herself drawn to the Emporium's comforting atmosphere. She wandered through the aisles of the antique store, her fingers trailing over the worn spines of books and the smooth surfaces of antique trinkets. She stopped before a display of old cookie cutters, whimsical shapes of stars, moons, and animals. A wave of nostalgia washed over her, reminding her of baking with her grandmother as a child. Silas, observing her from behind the counter, shuffled over. "I found it in my own late wife's storage locker and would be willing to part with them." As Juniper was getting ready to leave, Silas noticed a small, forlorn music box tucked away on a dusty shelf. He explained that it had been his wife's favorite, but it hadn't worked in years. Juniper, who also had a knack for tinkering, offered to take a look. Silas, surprised by her offer, gratefully accepted. Over the next few days, Juniper visited the Emporium after closing her bakery, spending hours carefully examining the music box. With Silas offering her a warm mug of cocoa, she diligently cleaned the gears and repaired a broken spring. Finally, one evening, with a click and a whir, the music box sprung back to life, playing a sweet, lilting melody. Silas is overwhelmed with emotion as he hears the melody for the first time in decades. Juniper's kindness in restoring the music box has brought back cherished memories. Silas offers the cookie cutters to Juniper at a very low price as thanks. Inspired by the Emporium, Juniper offered Havenwood Emporium cookies at her bakery, shaped like stars, moons, and animals. With each cookie sold, they would donate 10 cents to Havenwood Emporium. The cookies were a hit. Drawn in by the story, townspeople flocked to Juniper's bakery, supporting local businesses. Word spread, and Havenwood buzzed with renewed appreciation for its local shops. The new shopping center seemed less appealing, overshadowed by the town's warmth. Increased sales from the cookies saved Juniper's sweet surrender and brought customers to Havenwood Emporium. People entered Havenwood Emporium, reminiscing with Silas about his late wife and her dream of filling Havenwood with kindness and gratitude, a vision Juniper was now realizing. Juniper and Silas, standing side by side, understood that even the smallest kindness could have the biggest impact. The Emporium wasn't just saved, it symbolized Havenwood's renewed spirit. They celebrated by using Juniper's bake sale funds to transform Havenwood Emporium into Havenwood's community center.